Didn't want our friend to ever come back to our house after he ate literally everything we owned. My husband Nolan and I live in Lisbon. We moved out here 2 years ago for his job, and most of the people we know are from an expat group chat, not old friends. Owen was one of those people, an acquaintance who ended up at the same bar nights. In March, he messaged me saying he'd gotten scammed on an apartment, paid a deposit to someone who didn't own the place, and had nowhere to stay while he sorted it out. I felt bad for him. I told him he could crash on our couch for the weekend. He showed up with one duffel bag, thanked us about 10 times, and carried groceries up 3 flights of stairs unasked. He seemed genuinely grateful, so when the weekend ended and he asked to stay through the month, 20 days total, we said yes. That's when the small stuff started. He never once bought groceries. Every time it was his turn to chip in, he'd pat his pockets and say he forgot his wallet, or claim he could only pay with Apple Pay, which the corner merceria doesn't take. One night Nolan and I split a pizza and ordered a second one just for Owen. He finished that whole pizza and half of ours. We laughed it off, told ourselves he was going through a rough patch. He left after 20 days, thanked us again, hugged Nolan at the door. For a few months things were normal. We'd get dinner with him sometimes, and he seemed back on his feet. In June he mentioned he was behind on rent again. We had a trip coming up, 17 days in Croatia, and needed someone to watch our dog Pepper and grab the mail. Nolan suggested Owen stay at our place instead of paying a sitter. I wrote him a Google Doc, feeding times, the gym fob, the Wi-Fi password, and one line telling him he could eat anything in the fridge that was going to expire. The yogurt, the soft peppers, the strawberries. We landed back in Lisbon at 11 at night on a Tuesday. Pepper met us at the door going crazy, which was a relief. Then I walked into the kitchen and flipped on the light. The fridge was empty, not low, empty. The shelves were bare glass. The freezer door was open a crack with nothing inside but frost. The pantry was the same. No rice, no pasta, no cans, no snacks. Both jars of jam gone. The peanut butter gone. A liter and a half of olive oil we'd bought at the Portuguese equivalent of Costco, gone. Every condiment in the door, gone. Nolan's creatine, his protein powder, his collagen tub, all gone. And those aren't cheap. Then I found our good ceramic pan in the sink. The coating scraped clean off and a crack running through the base like something had been cooked on it at way too high a heat, over and over. I stood there doing math in my head. That was 6 months of groceries for the two of us, gone in 17 days. I told Nolan I thought Owen might have taken stuff with him too, because there was no way one guy ate all of that alone, but I had no proof, so I let it go for the night. The next morning the portero, our building's front desk doorman, stopped me on my way out with Pepper. He asked if everything was okay with our friends staying over, said he'd buzzed up more visitors those 2 weeks than he'd ever seen for our apartment. I asked how many. He checked his logbook, at least a dozen different names, some nights 3 or 4 at once, one night past 2 in the morning. That's when it clicked. Owen wasn't eating alone in front of the TV. He'd been hosting, people drinking our liquor and eating whatever was in the fridge, using our apartment like it was his own while we footed the whole flight. I texted him and only asked about the pan first, to see what he'd say before bringing up anything else. He wrote back, "Lol, it's just a pan. Why are you making this a whole thing?" I told him the portero had a log of at least 12 different visitors during our trip, and asked straight out if he'd had people over. He went quiet for a few hours, then sent, "Some friends came by a couple times. We just hung out. It's not that deep." A couple times turned into nearly every night, once I checked the dates myself. I didn't write back. I told Nolan I didn't want Owen in our home again. Not for a dog sit, not for dinner, not ever. Nolan thought I was overreacting, said if Owen wants to stay friends, that's between him and Owen. I told him it already involved the house, because Owen had already decided what our house was for without asking us. Owen kept texting like nothing happened, asking if we wanted to grab drinks, sending a meme about the pizza night like it was some cute inside joke. I left him on red for a week. Then Saturday afternoon, the intercom buzzed while we were unpacking the last of our travel bags. It was the portero, saying Owen was downstairs asking to be let up, said he had groceries with him to make things right. I told the portero one thing, loud enough that Nolan looked up from the couch. "Don't ever let him up here again.